I also want to circle back with you, though, Richard, about his reaction to Kyrie saying that KD is the first teammate that he's ever had, that he can be trusted to close out big games. LeBron said he was hurt by Kyrie's comments. Were you surprised when you heard that on the pod?
No, because everybody that knows him, and one of the big criticisms of him is sometimes his body language, or sometimes he gets too emotional in certain moments. We see it when he's frustrated, it's all over his face. So we know him to be an emotional player. And that's something that he constantly talks about having to work on, his body language and his emotion. So when he says that, I think that was probably the most accurate way. Like Perk and I and all of us get on here and we start doing all of our talking back and forth and what is he saying? But from a player to player space, he said it. He goes, that kind of hurt me a little bit. It was like, you know, during the finals, this, sitting down with Kevin Durant, and that's fine. But it's just like, that just, you can lift somebody up without tearing somebody down. And I don't think Kyrie's intentions were to tear him down. And my intentions on asking this question wasn't to cause any rift or drama. I just want to know, like, when you heard this and you heard all of the stuff that was being said and then you listened to the content, what was your emotion? And I think that really humanized it. And to be like, yo, it doesn't matter that I'm on my way to trying to win another championship, or I've accomplished X amount. To hear a brother, a former teammate, somebody that I wanted nothing but positive things for, to kind of shoot that shot, it hurt him. And I think that's the best way for him to describe it. And I think that's the most accurate way from a player to player to describe it. There was no, oh, that's BS. He didn't attack Kyrie. He just said, like, look, we didn't align, and hearing that statement hurt a little bit.
And Perk, what about for you?
Well, look, I said this when the podcast first came out, when Kyrie made this comment. I said that Kyrie Irving is a bona fide hater, and I'm going to tell you why. The reason being is the timing of the podcast. And look, they were sitting back at home, him and old Kevin Durant, watching LeBron James on the verge of winning his 4th title, and they couldn't stomach it. That's just the honest truth, and they were sitting back, and they was just trying to figure out a way to rub him the wrong way. To me, I was on the team when they first got assembled, when I was playing in Cleveland, I think in 2015,
Yep.
And LeBron didn't do nothing but try to take Kyrie under his wing and show him the ropes, Rachel, and I was there, so no one could tell me that it was anything different. So, it's just sad to see it. And if I'm LeBron James, I'm hurt also. But I was just happy to see that LeBron took the high road, because he could have said so many more things on the podcast. But I'm glad he took the high road and was the bigger person.
But
hey, one more thing, Rachel, and I'll say this. Those things being said when they said. Now, we remember Bron throwing that ball to Danny Green and him missing that shot. Let's say that Bron were to take a shot. Everybody and take a shot and miss a shot in a clutch moment in the finals. Everybody then would jump on the statement that Kyrie said. See, this is what Kyrie's talking about. See, this is what Kyrie's talking about. And again, I'm not saying that Kyrie was like, hey, I'm going to take a shot at Bron, but you still have to be aware of the things that you're saying and how they're going to be perceived. So, like, to have that be said during the finals when players are under the most pressure, to almost add a little bit of fuel to that pressure and saying, I've only played with one other guy that can knock down that shot while one of your former teammates is in the finals, you're inadvertently putting more pressure on him to knock down a shot, or else it's going to be used as criticism and your statement is going to be used as proof.
So I definitely agree with you, Richard, that the timing was an issue about probably why, and look, we heard it, LeBron say to you, like, the timing was part of what really messed him up about it and how he felt about what Kyrie said. And I agree also, by the way, if you are someone who gets paid all of this money, not just to play basketball, frankly, but to have a signature shoe and be in movies and market yourself, you have to have an understanding that you get paid all of that money because your words carry weight. So it means your words carry weight, and you have to then have responsibility for what you say and when you say it. I don't agree with you, though, Perk, that Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving weren't sitting around during the finals being like, oh, LeBron's getting too much attention. How can we get some of that? You don't think that really happened, do you?
Well, Rachel, look, this is what I'm telling you. Just think of it, the timing, right? Just think of it. Both of those guys were not in the bubble. It's Kevin Durant podcast, and at that time they decided to do a podcast with Kyrie and actually release that clip while LeBron was on the verge of doing something special and playing phenomenal basketball. I always say this, you know my saying, you can't tell me the sky is green and the grass is blue and expect me to believe it. I stand by what how I believe and how I feel, Rachel. That's how I feel.
All right. Well, I know what color the sky is. What about you, Richard?
Well, I don't think that, again, I don't think they were sitting around, but again, we're going to keep saying the timing of it is very, very difficult to justify. And look, those weren't the only controversial things that were said in that podcast. There was a lot of things that needed to be addressed. Right. And this was just one of them. And I'm glad that, Bron came on. And to your point, Perk, he didn't come out and kill him. He didn't come out and talk a bunch of trash. He said he was hurt, and he said that all he wanted was positive things for Kyrie. That's definitely taking the high road.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.